Hi there, folks. Sean Broderick. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum 2018 again, and boy, do I have a treat for you this time. David Sadhu, he's the CEO of Advantage Lithium, and this is a stock that my subscribers never shut up about, so hopefully we're going to get the scoop this time. David, thanks very much for speaking to me. But before we talk about your company, let's talk about the lithium market in general. What's going on, the trends, what you see really coming down the road. Could you do that?
Sure. First off, thanks a lot for having me on here, Sean.
Sure.
Appreciate it. I know it's a busy time, but you're right. It's a hot space right now. And we were able to take a company within 18 months and move it from a 5 million to a 190 million market cap. A lot of that has to do with what's happening with the major car companies out there. 2 days ago, Ford just announced that they're increasing their investment in electric vehicles to $15 billion.
They are going to roll out 40 new electrified models by 2022. That's not that far away. How do they plan to do it? I don't know.
Well, you know, one thing they're going to need is a lot of lithium for those batteries. So that brings me to why we decided to get into this space. You know, we're serial entrepreneurs in the resource sector, and this one's a hot space where you can raise capital, and we were fortunate enough to get an asset in Argentina that's one that we can get to production quite quickly and bring some of that brine into the marketplace that's required to power these lithium batteries. The other thing too is you've looked at the Chinese and the Japanese and the investments they're starting to make. It's multi-billions of dollars they're starting to invest in these battery making companies. They're doing some upstream and downstream investments, and they're looking for producers, short-term, long-term, and exploration companies like ourselves to invest in. So you see all the major car companies, you see the Chinese, the Japanese, and of course, you know, the first ones out the gate was someone who's just completely everybody thought was off the wall was Elon Musk at Tesla. Many years ago said, I'm going to make electric vehicles, and his market cap rivals that of GM right now.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, you, one of the big investors in your company is another company called Orocobre, which is also very busy in the neck of the woods, and they just got a big investment from Toyota, you know, which wants their production, wants to increase Orocobre's production. I think they actually want to double that and stuff. So what do you see happening with your company along those lines? Do you have big companies sniffing around and like stuff like that?
Well, it's a good question. I think the reason why we partnered with Orocobre was they're a strategic partner in the fact that they've gone through all the growing pains of understanding how to build these ponds in Cauchari and in Argentina, how to get concentrated brine to the marketplace, the quality that's required for these batteries. So they have gone through a lot of ups and downs just recently, but the investment by Toyota validates the fact that they've fixed it. They're going to be hitting their 12 to 14,000 ton numbers that they had suggested before. They have a $350 million investment by Toyota. That signals the fact that Toyota wants more supply and sees the market growing exponentially over the next 5, 10, and 15 years. More electric vehicles will be coming into Korea, Japan, China. China has mandated that you have to have a certain number in China. And so we picked a strategic partner that moves us to the front of the pack in terms of exploration companies. And they're cashed up now, Sean. They've got 100 million in cash. They own 25% of our asset in Cauchari. We are the operator and have 75% of it, and it's right in the lithium triangle. SQM, LAC have almost 12 million tons there, Orocobre has 6 million, and we're drilling on the northwest and southwest, straddling both of those large assets. And we're having the same results they're having in terms of the grade and the quality of the brine.
Excellent. Well, so will they let you use their expertise to advance your project? Because they did have some ups and downs, as you said, but they learned the hard lessons. Will they let you use that expertise to move things along? Well,
let me put it this way to your investors. They own 30% of our company in equity. Richard Seville, the managing director of Orocobre, and Rick Anton, who are two of the driving forces at Orocobre, sit on my board. Closed doors, they give us all the technical information we need. All the secrets we get, we're partners, and that was important. That's worth a lot. That's worth more than money and equity.
Okay, so what kind of milestones can we actually look forward to see from your company, say, over the course of the next year or so?
Well, we inherited an initial resource of about 500,000 tons in Cauchari. Our plan is by Q1 2018 to announce a new resource, which is going to be substantially higher than that. We'll have drilled 17 holes we're permitted for, and we'll have drilled 12 holes to build out that new resource at the end of March. So it's going to be much bigger than 500,000 tons, and then we'll start into our feasibility study to decide if we're going to build our own facility, standalone, which is there's enough space there, and if we're plus 2 million tons, we're going to look at building our own. And if we're not, we've got an option of piping our brine to our partner at Olaroz, which is only 5 kilometers away in Kochari.
Oh, excellent. So you should have that study done by the end of the year or so, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
and then
good.
we're hoping by 2019 we have a permitted project and a direction of where we're going to go. But just so your investors understand too, we're well funded. We've got 12 million US in the bank currently. We've got 10 million warrants at $1 that are in the money right now. That
I was going to ask you about what kind of share structure you have and stuff, yeah.
10 million shares that are warrants at $1. They're in the money. They're being exercised every week. So it's bringing in $500,000 to $1 million with every 2 weeks. So we're going to have probably at the end of the year, once we get to our feasibility study stage and start looking into project permitting, we'll still have 10 million in the bank. And then on top of it, we've got a partner in Orocobre that'll own 25% of the asset with 100 in the bank. So funding isn't going to be an issue for us.
Excellent, excellent. Are there other things that you'd like to cover that I haven't actually touched on yet?
No, I think you hit on the main points. I think the key is we started off as a young exploration company that had about 500,000 tons. We're going to build that resource out significantly here in the next little while. And we'll go from a resource to a reserve, by the end of this year.
Okay.
And when you have a reserve and you have your feasibility study, then that's bankable. You can take that number to the bank and borrow the money you need to. And I think at some point down the road here, I can't guarantee this, but I think we're going to be looking at an offtake agreement with one of these major Chinese, Korean, or North American companies for the brine that we'll be producing down the road.
Yeah, well, there are at least 25 huge mega factories being built around the world to make all these batteries for cars that are going to need input. And so your company is, one of those suppliers. You just have to get those agreements yet.
And your job, Sean, is to show value, right?
Yeah.
To show value to your investors and see what's the cheapest entry point to get involved in this new revolution of going from a hydrocarbon vehicle to electric vehicle. And you can invest in SQM, Albemarle, or Orocobre. Right now, I'd say all those companies are valued at the top end. Our company, Advantage Lithium, probably gives you the best value in the marketplace right now. Our market cap, compared to our other junior explorers in the area, is almost 30 to 40% less than any other company out there. And we're better funded, better asset, better grades, and better chemistry.
Okay, now that we've gotten people all excited, we have to give them the symbols. What's the stock symbol for your company?
Apple Larry, Advantage Lithium, AAL.V.
Okay, and do you know the US symbol, or should I look that up?
I think it's AVILF.
Yes, it is, on the OTCQX. Very good.
We graduated to the QX, and we're also on Tier 1 Toronto, which gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of doing deals. And so I think that in the future here, in the next 6 months, you're going to be looking at us doing a joint venture agreement, off-take type of an agreement with one of these large companies that'll bring in equity in the company. It'll bring in a new partner, and it'll bring in a project funder, hopefully. And also you'll see a larger resource. So we'll be in the game as far as talking about a junior.
Okay, great. Well, that about covers it for my questions. You folks are probably excited now. Definitely do your own research, but you should look into this one. Advantage Lithium. Sounds great. This is Sean Broderick at the Metals Investor Forum 2018. Thanks for tuning in.